I set this mission up and it is going to fly the perimeter of the property we rent here. It's approximately 7.5 acres, which will be cut down soon when we sublease part of our property to our landlord. Actually, the landlord's building a house right here, and he's moving from this house right here into the house he's building right here. But that doesn't show on Google Maps because it wasn't there when Google Maps digitized this area. So what we're going to do, we're going to take off here. We're going to do our 160 feet again. We're going to fly to this corner, over to this corner, this corner, this corner, fly up to here near where we took off. This should kind of give us a view of this area. And right here we're just going to be facing this direction. At that time we're going to do a 180-degree rotation to be pointing this direction, so we kind of get a sweep of the property, and then it'll do a return to home. So we'll come in here, we'll generate a preview, and it's going to be a 7-minute and 33-second flight. We'll scroll down here. Only going to take one battery, and what we're really interested in is when we get to altitude at 160 feet. There we go. What has our, oops, it's not quite 160, right there. Making sure we really haven't moved horizontally in the simulation. It looks like we'll be cool. We'll be high enough to clear all the trees. I'm going to jump out of this and go into the simulator this way because it gets rid of that bottom information and gives me a better look at what's going on here. So we'll click run the mission. We'll run it at 8 times. You can see the altitude's coming up here, over here on the right, 37 feet, 60 feet. When it gets to 160 feet, the drone will start moving horizontally. 120, 30, 140, and 160-ish. And off it goes for that corner of the property right up there. Got a 35-degree down tilt on the gimbal, so we can actually see some of the ground. We hit that point. Let's try to speed this up to 16 times. Turns there, heads for the corner out next to the road. Pretty soon I won't be doing any more of these near the road. Right down through here where it's flying is that chain link fence which separates our property from the property on the right here. So we're about to hit the waypoint there at the road. Ba-boom. And it turns left and heads down the property towards the third corner. I really don't think this is 16 times, but it's not my software. I'm not going to complain. I love the fact that the Mavic Mini can now do missions of all sorts. It's about to hit the third waypoint. Click, click, right there. That's that corner of the property we rent. It's headed for the back corner. Takes a little bit for it to repaint. I don't know if we rent this little finger here of woods or not. Okay, it's about to the back boundary. It should stop and rotate left. There we go. And now it'll head up this boundary line to about halfway, kind of where we were. We took off from right in here behind the house, and we're going to kind of stop right here, and then we're going to do a 180-degree counterclockwise rotation this time, just kind of fan out or look at the property in a fan shape right here. There we go. So we flew the four corners, and now we are taking a half of a panoramic of the property, and it's about finished. Click, click, that's it. At that point, it will do a return to home. Isn't that cool? Let's fly it, see what it actually does in truth. I'm pretty sure what it's going to do, but we also had that lockup yesterday, so I'd really rather be flying. I'm not real thrilled with this. I like to have missions that are inside the hardware that's flying and be controlling everything with a regular RC radio that does nothing but flight controls. All the commands and stuff are inside the platform, like all my drones and Ardu Pilot are, so that basically if my cell phone locks up like it did yesterday, it doesn't potentially crash the platform. But this is all I can do with the Mavic Mini. I will do more with the other platforms as I bring them up online. But I am just thrilled to be doing things like this. So we'll go ahead and fly it. Okay, take off. I think my gimbal's the way I wanted it to be. I do seem to have a slower vertical ascent speed, which I like. No sense of getting in a hurry. That's when you have problems and break things. So this will be the four corners of the property. Still some pretty good color in these trees. Almost all gone. The winds from the hurricane really stripped the leaves out of the trees, but as you can see, some of the leaves are pretty tenacious. Okay, we're at 160. We'll head for this corner right behind the house and the workshop. Somebody's standing out behind the house. Can't quite tell. Perhaps. Not really concerned with them. They're doing their job and doing it quite well, by the way. Boy, this flight would have been pretty good when the colors were brilliant. Guess I'll keep that in mind for next year. So we should be about over the corner of the property. And it rotates. Now we're flying down the side of the property. Right below us there's a chain link fence. Separates us from the property on the right. That's why I like this field here where this house is being built. It was basically surrounded by high trees on three sides and some low trees and bushes on the fourth side. So it was kind of a protected area for anything I wanted to test. ground rovers, quads. Maybe not airplanes here. We'll see. That will depend on the pilot's ability. But that way, if something went kind of wacko, I could, it would run into the trees, the fence, something like that. Really, there was one opening in one corner of the field, but basically that meant that I really couldn't get out of that field. This is the right front corner. Just a nice leisurely flight. Again, testing, testing, testing. Well, I barely kept it from flying above the road. The plane's flying right in the center of that oranges tree there. Just a few feet off the road. But that's what's legal. I can't fly above cars. Don't like flying this close to them, so when I get these things done, I'll stay away from this area. There's my landlord's son, the end of my landlord's driveway. Blowing leaves, it looks like. They're great people. We've been here 3 years. Into our 4th, I think, now. It's been great. So this is basically the property line that we rent. No, there are no fish in that lake. It's not really a lake. It's basically an overflow pond. Water's down in it right now. So we're moving towards the back of the property where the orchard is. There's a bird. He's down there. I'm up here. Although there were some chicken hawks flying around when I flew this mission, and I just really was scared that they were going to take interest in this little bitty bird making all this strange noise below them and come down and attack. That's part of the breaks. So there's the house and property on the left. We're flying the property line between us and the orchard out back. You can see the carport, garage, two-car carport, two-car garage with a work area off to the left of the two-car garage, house, basement. There's the landlord's new house coming up. And we'll be stopping right over these trees. That'll pretty much complete our route of the property. And then we're just going to stop right here and sweep to the left 180 degrees. See two little workers down there. See, that's a good field, especially before the house was there and the driveway was just really kind of closed in. Let me do my experiments without fear of, like the one time the rover several months back got into and crossed the road out front. That was scary. That was pretty much when I quit doing much in that field out front. You can see the driveway around the house. It's sort of gravel, mostly leaves right now, and we're coming up on the end of our 180, and that pretty much completes this. Thank you. Oh, and I did want to add, that is how close the little Mini came to hitting its takeoff point on return to home on this first flight today. I went ahead and let it land in the leaves just because I wanted to show how close it came to returning to home perfectly. I'm thrilled with that.